Let me ask you a question. When I say the phrase content farm, what is it that comes to your mind? You might have a classic picture in your head, you know, your lanky boxes, your horror skunks, but maybe if you were more in it, you could give us some more obscure examples. But that's where you, all of you, and I differ. Because I know nobody in hell is thinking about top 10 gaming. So, today, my mission is simple. Spread my pain and misery. I got a new camera, guys. Oh my god. I am recording this ahead of time because I am very dead set in making a video about this now. I need to get my initial impressions out on something before it just becomes normal to me, before I get assimilated into the hive mind next month. This is a very specific video I love referencing, and it's Ballora cannibalism theory. It's not even a theory, it's just like, hey, Ballora looks like a human, you could cook her. I just went down a rabbit hole and it kept spiraling, and now I'm looking for another clip because I think this is the funniest shit ever, and I've come across top 5 most embarrassing FNaF moments. Here I come. I can show you on screen what the thumbnail looks like, but it looks like that. Which is so funny. It just immediately piqued my interest, and I saw the preview, and I'm watching, I'm like, yeah, cool. I see this guy. Why is he dressed like Henry Creel? Rough, I quit. So, a month ago, whenever I was making the totally epic and awesome Goblin video, which you should watch, I remembered my favorite video on the internet. Top 10 animatronics that should be turned into pink sauce. It's simple, yet the most batshit thing I have ever had the misfortune of witnessing. So, like any self-respecting member of the human race, I went to go watch it again. But upon rewatch, something confusing happened. I got nostalgic. Not for this channel, not directly anyway, but for the channel that this one spun off from. One that's far more popular and one that you've probably actually heard of. Up there with WatchMojo and BuzzFeed for titans of nothing lists. Most amazing top 10. It's where I learned such cool factoids as cinnamon Tic Tacs are used to cure the cold in the UK. Which isn't true, and that a crazed man broke his way out of transportation on his way to a mental institute, put on a rabbit mask, and was coming to get me! So I can only imagine what this channel had cooking up.
The Japanese scene, Misty notices that the kid is staring at her chest, asks what he's doing, and he replies, "Can I drink from your breasts?"
I feel filthy for willingly looking at this. I'm not wearing a different shirt, you're wearing a different shirt. Fuck, I actually poked it. Alright, so if this section wasn't like one of the first 3 things you saw coming, that's on you, dude, because channels like this, they'll always go after Pokemon at least once, because somehow this is the first thing to ever achieve immortality. And their games look like this. And their cards cause things like that. Whenever I started my deep dive, I would have never imagined where this would take me. I thought at least it would be somewhere interesting. Like, I'm not surprised I got bored while going through this channel. I mean, it is basically the Scopper Gabon of the content mill world, and all of their content is for the most part from whenever I was single digits old. But god damn, it is so uninteresting. They make these videos as long as humanly possible without giving them any substance. I mean, at least with today's content farms, I can sit there with my jaw on the floor wondering what the fuck I'm even watching. But here I just have to stand and watch this asshole talk to me about how Pikachu will get mad at me if I take his picture in Pokemon Snap. which will cause him to come out of the TV and kill me.
Slowly, they started to emerge out the television, taking on a disturbing form. The boy tried to run, but the Pikachus attacked him, dismembering the boy.
And then sometimes they will have some crazy shit in there, like top 10 naughtiest Pokemon moments. Where am I? They'll make these thumbnails that have some imagery that's vaguely suggestive and pair it with a title that's even more vaguely suggestive. However, the vast majority of the content itself is creepypasta lists. And honestly, I don't feel like there's enough to say about those on their own, really. They talk about these stories nobody's ever heard of because they suck. And the few times that they do talk about something I know, I'm immediately tempted to skip because these hosts pussyfoot so much. Like, dude, I know this story. It's Lavender Town Syndrome. Stop trying to be grand about it. Oh yeah, the hosts. Yeah, this channel, much like Top 10 Gaming, has this is Top 10 Gaming. Like most amazing Top 10, has a constantly rotating cast of hosts. Each one usually, but not always, lacking a sort of Vecna flair about them. If only my content mill host would look like Henry Creel from Stranger Things so I could use it as a clever segue to get to the next section and stop talking about this.
Don't even think about it, this isn't a weird Rule 34 thing. This is legitimately because Chica is a chicken, and chicken is delicious.
Oh, Connor Monroe. You always just know what to say. This is the second thing to ever achieve immortality, and I accidentally helped with that. Let me start off by saying I got the Pokemon stuff out of the way, and that was very brief, just so I could get more into the stuff that I knew as a homunculus. I, as every child in the United States born during the aughts, was a FNaF kid. Am a FNaF kid. This series honestly means a lot to me. I cried tears of sorrow whenever that fuck-ass Living Tombstone FNaF song played at the end of the FNaF 2 movie. I know that they're going for the Living Tombstone stuff, but guys, I think another 5 nights is way too good to pass up on. And while I'd love to sit here and talk about my crippling emotional attachment to this series and my love of the nerdcore artists that surround it, I'd much rather talk about this.
And I'm Ballora. Okay, there is no real safe way to say this, so I might as well go all in. Cannibalism is a real thing that people partake in.
Yeah, so if it weren't for the fact that I have known of these people for years before wanting to make this video, I would have initially thought that they were the FNaF YouTubers. I mean, just like taking a scroll from the top of their page down on their most recent videos, almost all of them are almost exclusively FNaF. 2 almosts. They don't talk about much else anymore. 1, because they don't make content anymore. And 2, because back whenever they did make content, all it did for them as a topic was print money. I want to start off really quickly by just looking at some of these crazy ass thumbnails and titles. Okay, you guys ready? So this is kind of a problem throughout the entire channel, but primarily with the FNaF videos, it is the most noticeable. So, the strangest FNaF ideas of all time. Alternate versions of Toy Bonnie that will keep you up at night. This FNaF video will make you need to shower. Scary FNaF animatronics that will scare Golden Call. Who the fuck is Golden Call? Two banger thumbnails and titles here. FNaF fanships that will ruin your search history and sinful FNaF games. These FNaF mods made her leave me. FNaF moments even Markiplier couldn't handle. Reasons FNaF William Afton's Springlock failure was deserved. Every time William Afton should have died. Scary FNaF Chica theories. And how could we forget the ever iconic FNaF mods that will leave you blushing? God, I wish I was making half of this shit up. And that's not even scratching the surface of it. If I were to put it into iceberg chart terms, that would have just been the Sky section. If anything, actually, it would be above the Sky section. These people are also very, very, very certain that Gregory is the villain of Security Breach. Next topic, Top 10 scary FNaF animatronics, where my goat Connor Creel just starts swinging.
Someone I'm gonna want to tussle with. However, I want to talk about what's going on with this character because My guy, you dressed up as a possessed man who is inhabiting an animatronic, unable to die but still decaying. You are quite literally dressing up as a serial killer. Like in the FNaF world, if you dressed up like this, it'd be like if you dressed up as Ted Bundy in this world.
Like, what the fuck? I can't tell if it's because I'm sick, but I can't tell if this guy's genuinely mad or not. He just goes off on this seemingly unscripted rant about dressing up like William Afton and how in the FNaF world that's the equivalent of dressing up as Ted Bundy. Hold up, dude. Wait a fucking second. If I were to take your logic, I can't just walk up to a crocodile cosplayer and go, oh, well, actually, in One Piece world, it's like dressing up like Genghis Khan. So there's a... That would just make me the most obnoxious buzzkill of all fucking time. Nobody would like me. And then he goes on to try and justify him being dressed up as William Afton, hiding behind...
And if you want to be in FNaF that badly, okay, don't dress as the serial killer, is all I'm saying. And I know that's ironic coming from me, okay, given what I'm dressed like at this moment. Also, I'm dressed up as the purple guy who makes no appearance in the actual FNaF world, okay? There is no actual, I mean, okay, there is the actual purple guy, but he doesn't look like this, okay? The purple guy that I am dressed as is not actually a real version of the serial killer in their world, okay?
You're fucking joking! Okay, dude. Let me hit you with this. Dressing up like William Afton from the 8-bit minigames is equivalent in the FNaF world to dressing up like the Netflix version of Jeffrey Dahmer. See how that works? There's always a higher horse. They're both glorifications of this real person who committed real atrocities in their world, correct? I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. And I wish I could say that was the first and last time that he's ever done that. But remember that clip that I showed you in the cold open? Yeah, in that video, he goes on to say that it's embarrassing that the FNaF community has theories and headcanons about Mrs. Afton.
This is no mention of an actual name, nothing. So naturally, there are theories. However, these theories have no actual base in game lore, and instead focus on FNaF animated music videos, and stories, and fan fictions that are treated as canon.
That's not all that crazy, man. He lists off all the prominent ones. Car crash, plane crash, child crash, husband crash, all the crashes in Mrs. Afton's life. And well, he does mention that at least one of these headcanons comes from a music video. So fucking what? That doesn't give him the right to just point fingers and call you stupid and embarrassing for wanting to speculate the truth behind one of the most important characters in the FNaF lore who has yet to actually be elaborated on. I still don't see the problem with somebody taking that interpretation. Like, for example, I had my own interpretation of the ending of Whiplash, but then I heard Miles Teller's take on it, and that became my take. I agreed with it, and that's what I started to think happened after the movie. It's not that uncommon acting like this is some atrocity, like this is some act against God whenever it's just normal fandom stuff. I'm wondering if this guy has ever been around anybody ever in his life. Unless they just had this history of useless filler, I don't see the reason why. Starting to make a lot more sense now. Different day, same shirt. I have yet to get the chance to change. Now, before diving into this headfirst, I would like to repeat to you guys something that was said to me initially by my older sibling, because we watched these videos together. And that's that most of these Fortnite creepypastas are just shitty rewrites of other movies or books, with Fortnite maybe kind of esque-related things stuffed in the shell. And like, yeah, I should have guessed, it still just kinda shocked me a little. Great, next topic. Yes, allow me to elaborate on why I use the useless fillers segue to get here. Not only are these videos uninteresting to a degree that makes me question how they even have this many subscribers in the first place, I also really want to know why this video has 2 million views! No, seriously, look at that view count, and then let's just look at the that like ratio. Wait, hold up, I just wanna... Wait, what the fuck? This can't be real or right. I refuse. Anyway, that out of the way, let's see what horrifying and mind-melting content lies within this clearly deeply disturbing video. Kid is scared of Rabbit Raider. Rabbit Raider appears in real life. Kid dies. And then this other kid is really scared of Cuddle Team Leader. Cuddle Team Leader appears in real life, kills the kid. Oh, and lastly, there's this stripper who really likes Battlehound. Battlehound gets really horny about that. Battlehound appears in real life. Stripper is found dead 3 days later. What? I wish I was just saying and writing this for the sake of the joke, but no. I really wanted to go into what was inside of this video and talk about what they were saying, but it's not my fault, officer. That's really how they wrote this shit. It is so much nothing. Even at a point, my sibling had to ask me if this is what creepypastas were. We discussed it a little, and well, yes, creepypastas were for the most part pretty fucking shitty. At least they had heart. And writing more gripping than whatever the fuck this supercomputer clearly responsible for this brainwashing scheme is pumping out. I also really want to talk about this. What the hell is this? I know what those words mean because hee-haw peckers. But to those of you who are uninitiated, allow me to share this piece of knowledge so you guys can absolutely ogle at the insanity with me. So, in the Bible, according to my religious friend, whenever multiple demons possess one host, the host tends to say the words, "We are Legion." This is not only crazy to me, because they put those words on a picture of Cuddle Team Leader from fucking Fortnite, but the fact they did it twice on 2 different videos, still about Fortnite, but about 2 completely different aspects of Fortnite, and they were separated by
3
month. And none of the stories have anything to do with that insane concoction. This is somehow the most and least interesting thing I've ever laid eyes on. This entire channel feels like just this big social experiment designed to drive you mad. How did we ever let them get this far? They need to be stopped. They already have been stopped. They aren't uploading anymore. But my point still stands. I will not rest until Connor Monroe is sealed like a special grade cursed object. Let me be clear. Obama. I am not mad that they are making creepypasta lists for games. There are a lot of games with a lot of creepypastas out there. This could work in theory. What I'm mad, annoyed, and bored at is the fact that they did it with fucking Fortnite. Like, that part of internet culture was already long dead by the time Fortnite rose to infamy. I would also now like to point something interesting out. In the description of every single video that I have seen from these people, there is never once a scriptwriter ever mentioned. They also don't credit any of the sources, and if they do, it's very, very rare, and they usually say it in the video instead of linking anything. They do have a producer listed, however, the guy who supposedly runs both this channel and Most Amazing Top 10. However, I'd also like to point out that producers typically don't write scripts. In fact, one of their jobs explicitly is to gather scripts. So, Landon, where are the scripts from? And who the fuck makes your thumbnail? I got a new camera. Again. Now, I think it's time to get into the part of this channel I think is just most depraved, and that's the sexualization pumped into every aspect of this fucking channel. Their videos, their thumbnails, their titles, it's just everywhere.
3. This Ampharos moment. Yep, not really much else to say for this one. Looks like they're doing it.
And I know this isn't new, especially to content mills. I mean, just look at the Sprunky shit that happened a few years ago, or Elsagate from 2016, 2017. It's not new, and these guys aren't the first or worst offenders, but I feel like that argument is completely null and void whenever we're talking about children's content. No matter how bad it is comparatively, it's just not okay. It never was okay, and it never should be okay under any circumstance or context. But shit like this, it's just never okay to market to kids. It's baseline, full stop. I'm not saying anything groundbreaking here, but I feel it is important enough to emphasize the point that this is just not okay. For example, let's take this video called Top 10 Rouge the Bat Surprising Facts. It's just more of the same uninteresting stuff said at you by a host who just quite frankly doesn't care and is probably being held at gunpoint. But what caught my eye is this.
Extensive furry fandom. If you don't know what a furry is, maybe go give that a Google right now. Make sure your safe search is on.
I'm gonna have a fucking cow. Before I get to my main point, I feel like it's very important to get up on the rooftops and just scream that being a furry is not innately sexual. I feel as if too many people are still under the cringe-ass edge tube impression of what furries are, and like, hey man, all I gotta say to you people is go take a shower and find somebody who loves you. There's not a damn reason on the planet that you should be sticking to goddamn Leafy is here opinions from a decade ago. Wash yourself. Now, I'm not gonna show it here, but my next point revolves around the fact that they just showed straight up porn of Rouge the Bat. Rouge. That's her name now. Not potential. Not cropped. And sure, it wasn't like heavy enough to need censoring, but it also wasn't censored. If you guys want to go out there and seek the video and look at what I'm talking about, be my fucking guest. I mean, it's right there. Here in a second, we'll get into something that's more complex and has layers to it, and it isn't so clear-cut, but here I can judge. Who do you think you are? It doesn't help that this video is about Rouge the Bat, one of the most hypersexualized characters in the Sonic franchise. I mean, just like, go look at Sonic Adventure 2. She literally has a dominatrix outfit. Kids games, by the way. There are things you can put behind that and excuses you can make for the dev team, but here there is no excuse you can make. You're furthering it and then pushing it to a bunch of kids who wouldn't have access to anything else like that. It's not ethical, not in the fucking slightest, and I don't know how any of them got away with it for this long. Remember how I said we'd talk about something more complex? Let's move on to that. In a video called Top 10 Scary Sonic Stories, there's this one story called Maria's Revenge, and real quick, I just want to say that I'm not blaming or lambasting any of the hosts here, because I'm not seeing anything that they could have done to control the situation. They're, for the most part, just doing their job, from what I can tell. All the blame that I'm casting here is going purely to the scriptwriter and the author of the original story, if there is an author to the original story and this wasn't just written in-house. In this story, something scary happens to this guy's console, and scary, it starts glitching, and just typical creepypasta stuff. And then the host said something that made me sink back into my seat with discomfort. In the story, the author's being haunted by models of Maria from Sonic Adventure. That's which one it was, right? Anyway, he's being haunted by models of Maria, and he writes at that point that some of those models were naked. I'd like to remind you of Maria's age. That is a 12-year-old girl. To the author, I see two different possibilities, but I haven't found any evidence supporting either, so I'll just say everything I'm thinking. Scenario 1. This was written by a kid, and they just did this for shock value. In that case, I don't feel like we can really get on to the kid very much, because, like, I don't know, depending on your age, if you're that young, it's likely that you're not aware that that is not good. Right. However, if it was an adult just trying to write this for scare value, I have an extreme problem with that. It rings out the same way that one FNaF VHS tape does, where William Afton's just frying a baby. You just start desensitizing yourself to these things that are used in horror, and you start viewing them as cliches instead of real things that could really happen, and real taboos that you shouldn't fucking cross. I can't wrap my brain around it. Both the deep frying of the baby and the idea that an adult, which I don't think is likely, but isn't a possibility we can completely rule out. I can't wrap my mind around things like that. Like, what triggered in your brain for that to be even close to an idea? It's common sense, and this is a bigger issue that I am not qualified to talk about, but it's very, very clear cut. Once we desensitize ourselves to this stuff, people just start doing scarier and scarier things that are more outlandish and more taboo to try and scare us. It's not. And then people who actually derive some form of sick pleasure from this can hide and prey on innocent people more effectively. You are creating such a hostile environment that creates opportunities for people to just be taken advantage of all across the internet. Roll that up and smoke it. Landon, you fuck! I just want to use this section to talk about some of the other things that I can't really put anywhere else. I mean, that's why it's called what it is. Shut up. Like, for example, back on the porn talk, something I never thought I'd ever have to say in my entire life. Look at this thumbnail. I have more than a problem with this. Now, if you're a human with a life, you're probably really confused on what I just showed you, so allow me to outline. This video is called Top 10 Hottest Robots in Gaming. Part 2, which I could have a whole rant about. But the thumbnail? The thumbnail makes me angrier, so we're gonna talk about that. This isn't even a robot. This is just porn of Tracer and Widowmaker from Overwatch. Except they grayscaled Widowmaker's ass to make her look like a robot. I don't know. Look, these are gross people who want to do gross things, like peddle sexual content to kids using Overwatch. I've got an idea! Just kill me already. They also have a catalog of videos that spans across every game on the planet Earth up until the year 2020. They're all here. Doki Doki, FNaF, Little Big Planet.
He could hear Sackboy weeping, and then he could hear a gun go off, displaying a flash in the windows of the home. Sackboy had killed himself. I guess
There it is! Roblox, Among Us, Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto. At a certain point, I just start to wonder if these guys have ever actually played the games that they're talking about. Like, do they do research at all into what the writer is writing, or do they just go surf Reddit for a bit? Done it again, Landon. You've made me even madder. 4 seconds. It took you 4 seconds to piss me off again. It took you 4 fucking seconds to piss me off again. I have something to back that up. For example, in the one Little Big Planet video they do, they read 2 creepypastas, and none of those creepypastas were floating around or known in the community. The reason I know this is because I have an inside source. My friend Mob has been part of the Little Big Planet community since almost its inception. So, like, an example that Mob gave. Sackboy Unzipped, that even came with its own level to pair with the creepypasta. Now, I'm kind of less angry that they just decided not to do Sackboy Unzipped despite the infamy. I'm more mad and confused at the fact that they used footage from the level in this video! It sounds like something I would write. Holy voice crack. It sounds like something I would write in a Minecraft world whenever I was like 12.
Probably. Yeah, it sounds like a Minecraft ARG, low-key.
It does, like not even a good one.
In a random cave that you didn't dig.
And then like the tunnels in the shape of an upside down cross, just conveniently. They either did that intentionally or didn't and just had zero clue what they were looking at. They just looked up Little Big Planet creepy image, found that, and didn't care to elaborate. Like, where are you guys finding these things? So yeah, the combination of that, everything from the Sonic section, my knowledge of the FNaF series just as a whole since I was a tiny homunculus, and all of the Fortnite videos that are just so much nothing. I think it's very safe and appropriate to call these people and their channel the content mill. The people are the content mill too. Minimal research, minimal work, billion videos a year. Rest in peace, Top 10 Gaming. You would have loved Gen AI. Speaking of, I have this video on their channel labeled Scary Ways That AI is Ruining Your Gaming. And there's a lot you could say in that realm. There's some very real consequences generative AI is having on the gaming scene. So, whenever I saw that it was a fucking nearly hour-long video, I thought that maybe they really were educating people about all the ways that this is currently messing with the gaming sphere and just us in general as, I hate using this word so much, gamers. But I got really confused whenever I clicked on the video itself because it's just Connor Monroe talking AI up for about 10 minutes, and then the rest of it's just fucking miscellaneous FNaF top 10s. It doesn't make any sense. Because of course these guys would do that. They don't care. And to make it even better, they have another video called Top 10 Animatronics Determined by AI or something stupid like that. Great. Do we have any euthanasia lying around? I think a couple people in this room desperately need some. I won't have the Gen AI talk with you because, quite honestly, well, yes, I have done my research, and yes, I do know a fair bit about it. A fair bit about it. I don't think I am completely qualified to lay out a concise explanation, and we do not have time in this video for that. Just go watch the Drew Gooden video, honestly. But I will say, go and try and buy a stick of 16 gigabytes of RAM. Then tell me how that was for you. Hey guys, I'm back to record the ending bit. In conclusion, these people are just lazy, filthy pieces of shit who would do anything to make a quick buck, be it clickbait excessively, do constant re-uploads, or peddling not safe for work content towards literal children. They are just the scummiest people on the planet, I fear. Though I also don't think that we should give them any more time of day. I also want to use that as a bridge to get into my next point. Don't harass anybody that I mentioned in this video, especially the host. They just seem to be doing their job, and I won't knock them for that. As for Landon, I mean, like, we have a major problem, sir, but that's for a different video. Moral of the video, Chica the chicken would be a hell of a lot tastier if she was more like pink sauce. Connor Monroe taught me that one. Huge thank you to everybody who helped me with this video. My awesome sibling, go check out their music here on YouTube. Link in the description. It's really good. My favorite is Moonlit Insurrection. And yeah, next month we're gonna get kind of wacky with that video. I'm gonna do something I haven't really ever done before. We're doing a movie review. Very excited about that. My friend came over the other week and we watched this movie, and I could not believe my eyes half the time. It's beautiful, so hopefully you guys will be there for that. As for now, like and subscribe, or the Rabbit Man from Most Amazing Top 10 will come to get you. See, look at me. I'm doing the typical YouTuber outro. Aren't I so hip?